You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. It's great to have you, of course, as always, joining us here on our Mindset and Motivation Monday, where the topic of the week is always dedicated to making sure that you move forward in your life. Remember, there is no such thing as remaining neutral or stagnant in life. If we are not moving forward, we are moving backwards. Life is always in flux. It is always moving. So what I want to do on these Mindset and Motivation Monday shows is to simply give you a new perspective, something that maybe you figured out, maybe you learned many years ago, but you're not using today in your life right now. So we all need this. I'm included with that. One of the reasons why I love doing these shows is because they get me fired up for the week. They get me ready to tackle all of those maybe stressful things I don't necessarily want to handle, and that is the topic of today's show. What happens when there are a million things to do, you don't necessarily want to do them? Do you just not do them? Do you wait for motivation? Do you wait for divine inspiration? What is it that gets you going forward? And I want to talk about that today because there is a big difference right now when we look at those people that accomplish their wellness-based goals, weight loss-based goals, career goals, parenting goals, whatever they might be. And it's based on this principle of looking at emotions, so you can look at every different topic and every different event emotionally, or you can look at it through a stoic-based mindset. And if you've never heard about stoicism before, I want to simply put it to you like this, is that it is the philosophy that asserts that virtue, such as wisdom, is happiness, and judgment should be based on behavior rather than words. So meaning actions of what you do in your life rather than what you may say that you're going to do. And that we don't control and we can't rely on external events, meaning outside of us. We can only rely on ourselves and our response to those external events. And I love the teachings of Stoicism. I don't use only Stoicism in my life, but I love the idea of this, and that is from the Daily Stoic. So what I want to share with you is this, is that there are things that are outside of our control in life. We don't control them because we don't control other people. We don't. We live in a world inside of our own reality, and we get to view the world how we choose to. That's our reality. Meaning that if someone is really upset about a specific event, that's their reality. You may not be upset about that specific event. You know, when we look at the news, people feel strongly this way. Another person feels strongly this way. I mean, think about religion and politics and all of those different things. You have polarized people on both sides of the argument. They both believe they're right. Well, that's their reality. They truly believe that. And these people truly believe that. That's okay. That is your reality. What we're talking about today, though, is that you don't control the outside environment. But what you absolutely do control is you and your response to events in your life. Now, some events, there's no doubt about it, are not going to be happy events. That is part of life, and maybe it's unfortunate, maybe it's not. Maybe it gives us perspective. Maybe it gives us gratitude for what we do have. Maybe the hard times allow us to better enjoy when things are good. And as I always say, and what I picked up is that when things are going well, you want to soak it up and you want to extend that period of things going well and being happy for as long as you can. And when you dip into a low period in your life, okay, that's going to give you perspective for those highs, and you're going to try to pull yourself out of that low period as fast as possible within its limits. So here's what we need to do, though. We need to look at every day through either an emotional-based mindset or more of a stoic-based mindset. And this is what I've found that those people that achieve great things in their lives do, is that they don't wait for outside inspiration. We don't always know what's going to come our way. one of the things that I like to do is listen to a podcast or a video or something like that in the morning, just for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so, as I'm getting ready. And what that does is it puts me in that right mindset. So for the rest of the day, I go into things saying, this is what I have to do for the day. So there's a couple ways to look at this. Let's say, for example, well, the nice thing is when I have appointments booked, I have to show up for that appointment. I can't cancel those. Now, that allows me to have to keep my commitments because I'm keeping my commitments to others and I refuse to break those. But if it's just me, let's say that I have to get into work and I have to start recording a podcast at, let's say, 7:30 a.m. And if I don't get it at 7:30 a.m., it's not going to get done for the day. So I could let everybody know, hey, I can't do the podcast. I didn't have time, or I decided that I didn't want to do it because I wasn't feeling as energetic, or I couldn't think of a topic that I wanted to talk about, whatever it might be. I could let my emotions from maybe not getting enough sleep the night before or not having the same energy that I may typically have, whatever it is. I could let those events flow into that morning and stop me from doing what I need to do. Or I could not have to rely on those external-based motivators, and not even saying I need to be intrinsically motivated. That's not what today's podcast is about. So I would love for you to be intrinsically motivated, which means the motivation comes from within, that you don't need any external sources. What I like to do is get a little pep in my step and then use that to build up my own intrinsic motivation. But let's say it's not there. Every day isn't going to be perfect, right? Because we are not static beings. So what we need to do, and I talked about this on last week's podcast, and I called it Better Than a To-Do List, and I hope that you tuned in. That was episode 1340. And it's also, it's basically your not to-do list, right? But I went into how do you block off your day? Well, here's the thing, and I really believe this. When you look at, and I linked that up at episode 1340, the time audit. You need to audit your day. And you'll begin to schedule your day to be more productive. And I don't say to be busier. I don't want people to be busier because I schedule downtime. I literally schedule downtime. But it's there. So I don't want you to be busier, but what I want you to do is be more productive in life. And believe it or not, me going for a walk during lunch, that's productive because it calms my mind. It calms my nervous system. Me scheduling nothing from 8 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock at night, well, that's actually being productive because that's my wife and my time, right? So that's our time to relax at the end of the day and not have things scheduled because it's our time. So that is productive because that works on our relationship. Same thing, from dinner time to the time that my kids go to bed, I'm not going to be on social media. I'm not going to be answering all these different things that I need to. That's my kids' time. So what we have to do, though, is as they get scheduled into our calendar, it no longer can be emotional as to whether it's going to get done or not. Let me give you another example. You're not going to be able to fit in your workout anytime from 7 a.m. to essentially the end of the day, right? To at least 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. when your kids go to bed. It's just not going to happen. And you want to get to bed by 10, so you don't want to work out an hour before or 2 hours before you have to go to bed because you want to be ramping down. So you say the only time I can get in my workout is 6 a.m. Okay. Well, now, because you want to reach a specific goal and you want that exercise to be in there, your workout is 6 a.m. Now, there's going to be a whole lot of mornings, especially during like dark, cold New England mornings here in Boston. You're not going to want to wake up and do that workout at 6 a.m. If you went by emotions alone, you would skip that workout. But if you went by forget the emotions, I cannot be motivated or unmotivated. It doesn't matter. It just is. It is. It's in my calendar. I'm going to wake up at, choose a time, 5:40 a.m., whatever you want for your 6 a.m. workout, 5:30 a.m., and you're going to wake up, and you're going to get up, and you're going to hydrate. You're going to do your daily fruit and vegetable blend in water. You're going to do your lemon in water. You're going to do your ginger tea. You're going to do your alkalizing vitamin C water. Whatever you're doing, you're going to get up. You're going to hydrate. You're going to use the bathroom. You're going to brush your teeth, splash some water on your face, and go hit the gym, right? Whether it's a home workout or the gym. And you're going to do that like clockwork every day that you have that workout scheduled. Not because that you want to. Maybe you do. Hey, if you want to, it's a bonus. Fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. That's a bonus, though. You're doing it no matter what because you understand that in order to achieve your body transformation goals or your health goals, whatever it might be, your endorphin boosting goals, especially if you are more of that kapha body type, you're going there to get the benefits from the workouts. You're not going there necessarily because you want to do the workout. What you really want are the benefits that come from that. Now, if you had to be motivated in order to do that, you might be 50-50, right? The other reason why having a personal trainer is so great is because they are your accountability partner. Again, when I do my all-day consultations on Wednesday, I'm showing up. It doesn't matter how sick I am. It doesn't matter how tired I might be. It doesn't matter any of those things. I have a commitment. I am there no matter what. And that's a nice thing, again, about having an accountability partner, whether it's a personal trainer or a friend that you meet at the gym. Do not let that person down. You won't. You'll let yourself down. That's the thing. It's like a lot of people will let themselves down because you can rationalize it all day. Well, I needed a little bit extra sleep because I went to bed later, or I really need the sleep because I got a big presentation later in the day. You will figure out a way to rationalize in your own head. We all do that for sure. So if you have an accountability partner, whether it's a health coach, a personal trainer, meetings, a buddy that you're meeting at the gym, any of those things, right? If you have that, you'll keep yourself on schedule. So that's why I do those things in my own life so that I make sure they get done. Again, I want to take my mind out of the equation. I really do. I'd love to be like, I'm just going to do a little bit more research. Well, that research could end up taking the entire morning, right? But I have to keep myself on schedule too for my work. And it's also, I need to keep myself on schedule for my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids, trying to be a good dad. I need to schedule those things, right? So okay, well, here's what day I take my kids to school. That's in my schedule. Here's the day that I'm taking my girls to sports after school. Okay, I'm not working the weekends because that's our time. I'm doing these things, and I could schedule a million other things. Now, again, when that happens, it's already part of my life, and that's what I want to make it yours, so that whether you're up for it or not doesn't matter. It goes back to those benefits. Let's say that again. Let's talk career-wise. We have a lot of people inside of our community that want to be health coaches and that want to share this information with others. Fantastic. Well, what's the first and easiest and best way to do that? Well, you set up a Facebook account or an Instagram account. Most people have one. You could set up another one instead of your personal one for your health-based one. Okay. And every day, you're going to take 20 minutes out of your day to write a post and post a photo of something that could teach others more about health and wellness, something that you learned yourself. Now, every day, you might not want to do that. Okay? There might be some days that you don't want to, but if it's scheduled every day for 11:30 a.m. right before you take lunch at 12, it's in your calendar. You will get it done, not because you always want to, but it goes back to, here's what I want to do. Ultimately, I want to be able to serve others. I want to be able to help them more with their health and wellness and fitness and all of those things. So in order to move into a career that I really want to do, I need to give first. I can't take, I need to give. If what I'm giving is good enough and has enough value in the community, people will want to get more information, to work more with me. That is in any type of career. Oh, you want to be a great real estate agent. Fantastic. Good. Well, how are you going to be better than, different than your fellow real estate agent? Well, you're going to try to do what? You're going to try to connect better with people, answer their calls. You're going to be able to respond within a couple hours. You're going to be able to be very attentive, whatever it might be. I'm not a real estate agent, so I don't necessarily know that. But what I can tell you is this. If you are looking to move forward in any part of your life, and then that can include spirituality, it should be a daily practice. It should be scheduled, and you can't just do it when you're motivated to do it. Because really what you want are the benefits that come from that. And a lot of times, and I'm going to be real honest with you, you don't get the happiness, you don't get the benefits until you actually did the work. That's the really strange thing. So here's the thing. I always gave people, and this is going back a little bit, but I always gave people, when I was training a lot of people, and I said to them, listen, if you don't want to work out today, I get it. You had a stressful day. You had a hard day. You're tired. No doubt about it. I get it. Let's just warm up. Let's just 5 minutes. If after 5 minutes, I'm going to set my timer right now, you don't want to continue, No problem at all. I'm good with that. I understand. It's just one day. 100 out of 100 times, well, more than that, of course, we always continued. Why? Because momentum begets more momentum. Action begets more action. When we take one step, that created a little bit of momentum. Now it's easier to take the next step. And you've already put on your exercise clothes. You've already done your warm-up. You started to go through the movements. You're like, yo, well, I'm here. I might as well do it, right? That's just as good. And what happens at the end of every single one of those workouts? Every single one of those workouts. There was not a single person that wasn't happy that they did it that day. Guarantee you right now. Whatever it is that you dread doing, but you know it will help you move forward in life, whatever area that it is in your life, when you complete that task, there is no doubt in my mind, I can guarantee you to it, that you are going to feel great after the work is done, no matter what. I don't think that I've ever done a video, a podcast, a teaching, a seminar, a Facebook Live, whatever it is, where I was teaching what I love. If I was talking about my mission, there is never a time that I can remember where I finished that and I didn't feel great. It's the contrary. When I don't feel great, I know that, hey, maybe I don't really want to do this. I'm going to go teach. Teach, however, does not matter to me. I feel fantastic after that. Dopamine levels are firing. I've got the, feel-good endorphins rushing through my body, the same as you would get during a workout. From doing something you're passionate about. Now, you might say, well, I'm not passionate about it. Sure, but you're passionate about the results that it will lead to. And you'll begin to notice that over the course of days and weeks and months of putting into practice what you need to do in order to accomplish the thing that you want in life. And you can also, as you're going through it, one thing you say is, this is what allows me to get those extraordinary results that I want in life. I did a podcast on this. You have to be extraordinary in life. You might say, what does that mean to be extraordinary? Doesn't mean anything except this. You need to do something that's extraordinary, right? So you need to do something that most people wouldn't do. That's extraordinary. Ordinary people do ordinary things. And there's actually nothing wrong with that at all. I'm extremely ordinary in many parts of my life. I only try to be extraordinary in those areas that mean a lot to me, because it's very difficult to be extraordinary in every single area of your life. But you can in the areas that bring you the most joy, the most happiness, and also serve others, family, friends, school, community, work, whatever it might be. So if you want to get extraordinary results in body transformation or wellness, you need to do something that's extraordinary. You might say, well, my friends don't do that and they're in great shape, or my friends do that and they're not sick. But you're not your friends. You're a unique individual that has some lows in this part of your life and highs in others. They have lows in certain parts of their life. They just don't share that with you. Or they've mastered what we're talking about today, consciously or subconsciously, and brought up the areas of their life so that 90% of the time, never 100%, but 90% of the time, life is good. They're doing well. And that's what we want for you too. Pick the one area of your life, 2 maximum, that you need to work on now. Then put it into the calendar. When are you going to block that off in your day to work on that? And you could choose any part of your day. If you can't find an hour a day, that's an issue. That's an issue. You're overly busy with many things that you could probably delegate, hand off, or carve out a little extra time, right? Carve out a little bit extra time to do that. What are you doing? Are you watching TV at night? Well, what's more important, the TV or what you're trying to work on? Same thing in the morning. Could you wake up a half hour earlier? I'm almost guaranteeing that you could, because I guarantee you could probably go to bed a half hour earlier at night. So you can wake up a half hour earlier when no one else is awake if you go to bed a half hour earlier at night. Is it the fun thing to do always? No. But the fun thing is absolutely being extraordinary in some part of your life and getting extraordinary results. That will bring you way more joy than staying up an extra half hour and watching the evening news. That won't bring you any joy. 0. So what I want you to do is begin to focus on how you, as an individual, get more joy and happiness in your life. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for love. We're looking for happiness. We're looking for prosperity in all areas of our life. Well, we can do that one step at a time. Now, the nice thing I think in life is that we don't get to just step into it overnight. We actually have to become the person that's worthy of having those things. And why is that a good thing? It's because if you become the person that is worthy of having those things, you never lose them. That's the crazy thing in life. We never think about that. Because the people who lose whatever they gained. Like, let's talk about this. Let's say that you got well. Okay, great. If you ran your labs and you found out what was off and you went about replacing those deficiencies and removing the toxicities, you knew how you got sick and you knew how you got well. You're going to get to keep that. Now, let's say that you're someone that had to lose 70 pounds and you've been overweight now for a decade. Well, you've tried a half dozen things, a dozen things, none of them worked out. Then you began to do a functional medicine detox. You began to rebalance your estrogen dominance. You began to bring up a sluggish thyroid. And lo and behold, after 6 months, you lost that 70 pounds. Well, now you did the work. You became the person who became more educated, did extraordinary things by rebalancing their diet and their exercise and their sleep. And now you're in the body. You're living in the body that you've always wanted to. Well, you should have no fear. Only joy, only happiness. And here's why. You created it, and you know exactly how you did that. You followed a blueprint. You also did things that many other people wouldn't do. It doesn't make them bad. It's just not you. And it's okay to be you. It really is. So here's the thing. As you begin to move forward in life, you're going to have to probably do a couple things that you don't love doing. And that's okay. Because what you can do is you can focus on the end result. And you can love the future you. You can love that future result. And that's what you can stay focused on. So what I want you to do is the next time you come up against I don't really want to do it. I'm not motivated to do it. But you know that you should. If you know that you should, that's the dead giveaway. Never then allow emotions to get in the way of what you should do and need to do in order to create the life of the joy and the happiness and the prosperity that you want. Because you do deserve that. Do not let anyone ever tell you that that is not the life that you were meant to live. It is. If it gnaws at you every couple days or every week, saying, hey, you really deserve this. You really should have this. This is what you love. This is what you want to be in life. Those are signals of who you are meant to be. Do not quiet those signals. Don't allow those signals to fall on ears that are unwilling to hear that. You want to not only hear those voices, you want to make them a part of you. Allow that to allow you to vibrate at a higher level. You want your body intrinsically motivated. But if that motivation isn't there by focusing on the end result and how great it's going to feel when you achieve the career, relationship, spirituality, body transformation, or wellness that you want in life and that you ultimately deserve. If that is not intrinsically motivated enough, that's okay. If that doesn't get you going, that's okay. Let's take emotions out of the equation completely. Let's put it in your calendar, what it is that you need to do in order to become the person that is deserving of that end result. The be, the do, and the gets. Be that person. Do the things. Take the actions, whether you're motivated or not, and then you ultimately get the success that you've always wanted. Thank you so much for tuning into today's Motivation and Mindset Monday. I hope it was helpful. And if it was, please do feel free to share the show with anyone else you believe it could serve. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only two ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.